staying cool. I'm going to talk today about California, poverty and homelessness and affordable housing, and some of the stigmas that's going on in California. You know, we live in the fifth richest state, and it has so many natural resources, such as water, oil, and produces its own lumber. We have so many acres of land. It's just too much. Now, for us to have all these attributes in California, why is there so many people homeless? We understand the executive law that the governor just made, and it indicates that every city in California needs to abide by this by removing encampments and tents that's on the sidewalk and garbaging them and giving the homeless an option to whether they want to go either into a shelter or get that much. And the mayor in San Francisco has made another way of those who are not from California to be able to get a bus ticket back to where they belong, back home. But instead of these resources and how they're sent, and the money is seems to be distributed in different ways, this problem would have been solved had I been in office or a governor official, or anybody can solve this. Even a fifth grader can do this. The thing about this beautiful landscaping and sunny beaches and sunny climates that we have, according to the state of California, www.gov.ca, this means that this being the largest economy with over 3.9 trillions and Californians and 61% since the year prior, according to the U.S. Bureau of Economy. We're at a standstill, one of the richest places in the world. For us to be at the very highest level, the cost of living here is extremely high. And there is only like two levels of class. One is the high upper class, which is the richness of rich, and the low lower class, which is poor, involved with and surrounded by poverty. We know that that is a problem because due to affordable housing, that limits everyone. We know that the only way that you can get affordable housing is either through HUD, Housing Authority, or a nonprofit agency that houses, or some other form of way. And there is no form of way. Those are the ways. And those institutions are actually closed. A lot of people who are in California are waiting for some door to open that it will match their income. Somehow, there's people who cannot afford to rent a place in California due to some of the things that have happened from the past. We can blame it on Reagan Anonymous. His time was that he had made sure Prop 13 and closed a lot of doors. We used to have job training programs. We used to have where kids can go places. Boys Club and Girls Club were open. Libraries were fully open. None of these things now is available. Now you understand why a lot of kids play computer games. Some of the things that we look to build are not being built. And it's not because there is a problem. That's not true because we're facing this in California. According to California Poverty Manager, who measures, let's say, every different areas within each city, they measure the level of poverty. They measure the level of the biggest income areas. And because what they claim is that the researchers claim that the efforts of this poverty inequality, that the counts of housing costs is a safety, the net is not there. So we are in a hole. And these studies were done at Stanford Center in the poverty. And they included that on their report in 2023, about 5 million Californians. These factors are contributing to poverty. This is infecting, and this is why we're experiencing this. It's not just the high cost of living. It's not the injustice of the wages that doesn't meet the standard. It's because they don't want to build. The state of California has options to whoever developers that come in to sell these acres and land to them. But because of some of the surrounding issues, no one wants to build homeless for them in a area where they have property because they feel as if they build these low income apartments or housing, their houses that they built and bought or whatever they did at ownership of homeowners will feel that their property will go down. And so they rally around this. What makes it even bad is state legislators are property owners. Lawmakers are property owners. The big boys who have the big money are property owners. So when they don't want to build, it's just the fact that there's roaming around people who are homeless because of these issues. Believe it or not, homelessness is a man-made. It can be dealt with any second. Housing could be built because California, again, have their own acres and they have their own timber. So they're building up all sorts of other things like homes, new, beautiful, beautiful, spacious homes. But they're not building up anything as far as for the homeless. There may be some people out there who only get $700 a month or somewhere between $1,000. And let's say the rent itself is over $3,000. So these shortages causes a problem. And that shortage making it difficulty for people to even have housing. Now, we know for a fact when these homeless people who are using their tents are camping out, it's going to be off the street. Each city is responding to this. Each ownership of their tents will be thrown away. Probably things that they own will be thrown away. Then after, if some people who decide that, no, I still don't want to live in a shelter, this is going to cause a lot of complications. And this is also a psychological, mental issue. Imagine somebody coming in and taking all your stuff and throwing it away. You could have had family pictures, whatever it is that's sentimental to you. But this situation here is starting to become a very problem. Not just homelessness, but low income housing and jobs that only pay minimum wages. This is a very devastating thing. And social services programs do not meet human nature standards of living. you can have a problem with that because those doors are either closed, and the only thing that we're giving out good is food stamps. Food stamps cannot buy shelter. It can buy you food. Now you understand the drug problems is one of the problems that we're having. It's because you know why? Wouldn't you want to get high if you didn't have any place to go? Wouldn't you want to leave your circumstances and get drunk because you don't have any knowledge? I'm going to go to break and we'll come back and finish this discussion. Power.
G flat major. G make a flat major. A major. Original song mode.
West. 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 West.
Welcome back to Power for the Common People, MarC4MLK, your host with Driving the Most. I want to say, as a result of all this that's going on, it's not going to end. Poverty is just starting to be a blueprint. It's as if everybody is in it. We're swimming, but we're not getting anywhere. We're actually not even floating. We're struggling. You know, we can end poverty real quick. This could be done. If the state produces lumber and these resources and acres and stop redlining. Redlining is not allowing other people who are low income, not giving them the opportunity to move into certain areas. Because again, people feel it's very difficult. But those places that we are talking about, developers, sometimes the state restricts them. And they use a lot of regulations to prevent them to even making homes, affordable homes. And it makes it hard for our people to even have the 30% of their own income. You know, fair housing is not in it, and fair labor wages is definitely not in it. It's an obstacle for both sides. Because we know fair housing, if it was true, there would be fair housing. And fair labor wages, if it was true, there would be fair labor. Now, a mother who has 3 children and is trying to struggle out there, working and also receiving some sort of aid. Now, she has to be in a certain level. If she go over that level, she will not either receive aid or not even be able to stay in a low income housing. You notice that every year they have to do an eligibility check. Now, I'm going to give you some information about how they issue out housing. It's going to be very devastating, but this is the truth. There is the first group of housing that's done by HUD. They are given the opportunity to get a voucher, Section 8. That voucher can be anywhere within the states. Their opportunity is at a high risk because they can go anywhere. The second level is group 2. That is a voucher too, just as well. Our low income 30% or to 50%. Now they can stay in an apartment complex or be under either Mercy Housing or John Stewart, let's say for example. And they will have to do the eligibility, but they also will be staying in an apartment complex that's either newly built. The last group, which is the third group, is housing, public housing, which is a very devastating stuck. This is because they stay in a government housing and they cannot move out and they cannot go over. Now, what they have done is to monitor. This is one of the things that we are guinea pigs as also experimented on. They want to see how the group 1, which is those who are Section 8, they move over to state, how do they survive? How do they maintain themselves? How do they keep up with their Section 8? Now, they cannot go over or they can go under and they can not have an income. And the Section 8 will pay for that. And the second level of those who are group 2, they will not be able to have a certain amount of income. But they can also move about within apartment to apartment, meaning that another low income place, but most of them is not possible because, for one, California has closed certain affordable housing. They're full. There is a 5 to 10 year waiting list. And reason why is because there's nobody who is there to push the issue. There is so many different programs that will help with housing, but they are funds have ran out. They cannot help you in emergency status. That makes it really hard because, let's say, for instance, there's a program that's needed and say their funding has been short and they can only pay for PG&E or they can only pay for your first month's rent. Those programs now are very at a short. They don't have the monies to even help people. Due to the coronavirus, which introduced more people that is homeless, there was never a safety net. Never a social services wasn't around. They only was around to give you either food stamps. And then we had to go through the unemployment situation, which we all know there was a lot of fraud going on, and a lot of people had to suffer through that. By the time the stimulus checks came, that money was used for to get back on your feet. But people were way farther behind. And people tried to get into these programs that will hold and pay your rent. But this was a problem again. Again, there's a lot of Californians who was in need of this. And then again, everything get depleted really quickly. Instead of them coming up with a very strong solution about building and making affordable housing to fit those who may not make money, may not have the income to move in. But it would have made sense because being on the street, imagine yourself being homeless at nighttime for a mother and having kids, or sleeping in a car, or sleeping in a park, or going to the library during the day, but going at nighttime trying to figure out what you gonna do, where you gonna sleep, or staying woke so you can sleep during the daytime. This is how far California has gotten. The lawmakers here have not been realistically on the job. Because had they been on the job, I don't think there'd be a lot of homeless people. And I don't think poverty would be a problem. If they had took the time and really sat down, so the federal, the state, the city, and other government officials, it is their duty to maintain an obligation to the people. Those elected people that we put into office, they do not care about you or me. Had they cared, we wouldn't have so many difficulties, barriers. There would be way more programs because when coronavirus happened, you see how dumb things is now. Now that you look back at it, for one, you have to get that shot. For two, what's up with the tissue in the stores? And it seems like everything was gone. Now, when you go into a store, you're finding all the things that they had taken away. Do you know that this is a game and we're being played like a fool? Because everything I'm telling you is preventable. Do you know they can make houses and they can make jobs, income better? But this drop is for a reason. This is to set the new world order that's coming. This is why we are going through a whole phase. We are dismissing and just giving away things to other countries. Monies have not been in our hands. So this is why I've been asking for reparations. That money is sitting there. Whether we use it for education, higher health care, or either just a community. As the people of my people power for the common people, what our common sense would be, why haven't we got a lawyer? Why haven't we hit the streets? Why haven't we been thinking about ourselves? But see, the thing of it is, this is why they opened up these weed dispensaries. This is why they have all these different things going on when it comes down to football games, basketball games, all sorts of community things that distort us. Had it been for the common sense of the power of the people during June 10th, it should have been spoken on. Reparations. I understand that some of us is not woke. And some of us don't want to hear it. I'm going to go to commercial. Power to the common people. And let that be the power. If anybody hear this and don't do anything or think logic, you should be thinking yourself that you're still here. Break time.
Brand new banger.
Level up, give it up, paper up, nigga what? Smoking good. Give it up, paper up, level up.
I'm on a different state of mind. I'm John Lennon. High denim.
Welcome back to Power for the Common People. Marcy for MLK, your host, running with the most. So here is a crazy thing. And these SOR apartments that are located in the Tenderloin. Now, these apartments that are given to people who are from either the hospital, from the mental ward, or people who have chronic, they've been homeless for a long time. And they receive $390 from general assistance. These tenants pay $109 rent. There are 65 units located in the Tenderloin. The other units are located at 425 Eddy Street. And it's under an organization, the CCC, which is Continued Care Center. These apartments, one of them have no cooking facility. And the reason why they are there and given to these particular people is because, again, everything that California institutions that have these organizations run by the state and the federal, they are monitoring you. You are under experimental, just as same as the institutions, the prison institutions as well as the federal institutions. This whole thing is a game to them. Have you ever thought that you can be living better? This is set up for us not to live better. The drugs are distributed for a purpose of people not being able to comprehend. Not just the drugs, your income, what you earn. The reason why you get that income, the lowest, is because they know that you're not going to fight for your rights. These organizations that supposed to help with social service programs, they do not. They only give you a little amount and a whole lot of food stamps. And another reason why is that because they know the food that we're eating is also detrimental, dangerous. Again, red dyes, yellow dyes, anything that has color to it is not supposed to go in your body. I can't believe that we're living in a dangerous time. But in reality, we are. There is a shortage on everything. That's not true. Because as we know, things are being made, being recycled, and being distributed back again. My people, you, power for the common people. Your host, Marcy for MLK. This is this time now that we should be up in the air with our knowledge. We need to make a statement. We need to come on out. Right now, we have a decision to vote either on the vice president or Trump. And if we look at either one, have never helped us. Never. And if anybody understand that this is a lot of black African women are running things now, why isn't the African American man running anything? Why do they not have the brothers head household? This whole setup is done for a purpose. And as we live this life, we're going to see problems. And there's things that can be done. Things that we need to do. We need to start attending the public city hall meetings, speak out to public officials because they don't really care neither. All they doing is getting big bonuses. They're not fixing anything. They're not trying to eradicate the problem. They're not trying to solve a solution. The governor had spent and gave $700 trillion. And do you know that they don't know where some of that money went? And that was supposed to go to the homeless, to build property. They have been delaying that. And the killer part is our state legislators. They own property. Our governors and people from other states own property. We have the biggest, hugest billionaires in California. And none of them cannot stand the fact that they didn't want nobody around them that is under poverty. So poverty is starting to show itself up at our front doors. We need to focus on issues to prevent it, alternative ways. We need to start writing letters, start saying something. Because if not, what's going to happen is an increase of homelessness now. And they are pushing you out of it. We need to consult a financial analyst who can break it down for real and know the economy, how it's supposed to be issued out. We need our own people. We need to start collecting signatures and submit them and be bold about it. We need to find out who some of the developers are and the nonprofit organizations and ask them to please come to some of the local city hall meetings and we will group with them. We need to use social media platforms and plead to the people and let them know that this is getting out of hand. Because we don't know where welfare is going in the years to come. Social security. Some people think everything is going to be so stable. It's not. Get ready for the downfall. I urge you, some of you people, to go back to school. Learn another career. Because some of these careers are going to be distinct. Some of these monies, these social services program, they're going to take that away. I'm not trying to just give you a panic. This is coming. And some of these jobs are going to definitely not be around. I urge you. This is 24. But in 25 and 26 and 27, 28, you might not have your income that you have. This is not the time to sit down and look at TV. This is the time to do your research. And what is wrong will go wrong. See, we need to own our own land. If we do come into this so-called money for reparation, we need to leave here. This is not our land. This is not our people. We are working on the ground while they're sitting up there in the high horse. This is how we've been doing this for a long time. We keep going in these circles and coming out the loser. I'm going to take a break. Power to the common people. Marcy for MLK. Let's do this. Welcome back to Power for the Common People. Marcy for MLK. I'm going to wrap it up. Now, when I was telling you about the housing as the state legislators, do you know this is what they do? They are making new laws that is entwined with their property. So that's one of the reasons why we have been going through this for years. And some of the reasons that housing and some of the places in stagnated situation where they're not building, because we have the power to do so. And the most people that would hate people who are, they call us poor, would be people who have the money. Republicans, officials, powerful real estate people, tycoons, and institutions, and anyone who despise poor judgment, stereotyping. They claim that we're lazy, we're druggers, deadbeats. That's all we're looking for is a handout. Now, that's part of their stereotyping. First of all, we're hardworking people. We are not caring about what's going on. We just want to pay our bills, maintain our housing, and maintain family. Now, this ain't even going on, but the state legislator in California, as according to CaliforniaMatters.org by Costello and Levin, 2019, these lawmakers, they have a quarter of California housing. How is that? So we know that this is the shortage that we ever have experienced. And we have seem like a large increase of homeless people throughout the state of California. They're in every city. They're everywhere. And now it's families involved. How is that possible? How is that even making sense? Even though we live in a state that has the largest industrial and land, and the state has the most economical financial building. How is this the richest state but have the most homeless people? This right here is not possible. But it is. It's reality. We cannot go anywhere in a city without seeing somebody who don't have a place to stay. And we cannot be any place and not feel that pain. And the social services only provide general assistance. There need to be more job training programs, incentives that will make people want to live again. This is probably why, again, I said the drugs is more drugs than it is homelessness. Drugs keep fleeing back and forth. And the more they keep that drug kicking in, the more people are falling underneath the cracks, through the cracks. That's one of the reasons why we're in a sunny California. Why would we be experiencing poverty? You know, not having the lack of housing and not being able to have people in their own place. There's some policies that need to be changed. We've been running through presidents after president. Ain't came up at all. We still keep going in circles. it needs to stop. This whole California has restricted us from moving forward. I almost didn't make it in school. Thank goodness I got all B's. I've been pushing that petition. Liberty for all of us. Change.org. You can find it. Emmett Till. Hunters Point. The situation with Emmett Till didn't get resolved till 2024. How long will it take us to get the reparations? How long will it take us to get anything? Why do other races get on the street and march? But we have not done that. It ain't about the highers of the high. It's some serious stuff need to be taking place. What is Black Lives Matter doing? $90 million. And none of it went to any of the family members who they raised the money for. It is supposed to help us through brutality, police actions. And the lady who just got killed in her house by a police officer. Every day there is different cases that continue going on. Because I'm telling you, this is because this exists for a purpose. We are trying our best to hold our heads up. We are trying our best to raise our kids so they can have a better life. 2025, that bill will remove all our history. What is that telling you about yourself? Power for the common people. Marcy from MLK. It's telling you, you better get ready. Because the train may be coming or it may not come. The conclusion is here, we need better resources from our own people. We need our people to stand up, not stand down. Instead of hurting each other, we need to come together in a reunion and make something happen. Because these lawmakers are not caring about us. As you sit here at your own eardrop, listening to me, you should ask yourself, when was the last time somebody knocked at your door and helped you with your income, increased it? There are over 650,104 homeless people and more in California. And there's no improvement. They keep revising that they're going to build these apartments for low income. They're doing it very slowly. But I have seen them build houses, beautiful homes, in a 3-month time. Stop playing. They refuse to do anything because all they want you to do is die and give up. You are being punished. Just as if they don't care. Like as if something's wrong with you. My conclusion is this is a punishment. It's to keep poverty and invest in it. And it's a reason why things are going like this. there is a breakdown. To end this, they can't do it. It is injustice. As a result, there is so many things that an institution, social services, housing authority can open the door. But now when they are looking to move people in, they only bring at least 5 people for Section 8, 20 people for low-income public housing. All of it is experiment. Why would that quota be like that in this golden, beautiful state? How is we going to live in such a dirty atmosphere when it's certain divisions for a purpose? It's invincible. And this is a people-made, created poverty. And these are people-made policies. They can dismantle them anytime. We can end poverty today. But we got to think bigger than this. And we got to be smarter than this. And we got to act greater. This is an urgency. I'm telling you, this is almost coming to the end. So please don't rely on any social services program, such as getting monies from them. Because if you continue to do that, you will be out of a life. You will be impoverished. These programs will be ending. The state will run out of money, and so will the federal. And once that happens, we will just be stuck getting issued food and issued vouchers for housing. But the rest of it, don't count on it. That's what I'm explaining to you. Go back to school. Get a trade because you're going to need it. This next step, if you're sitting down looking at TV, that's not going to help you. We need you to start thinking about your future. That is going to be the most important thing. You're not going to be able to save yourself if you are depending on these people to issue you money out. They're not going to be around to save you. You're going to go into a camp position where they're going to tell you what to do, what to eat, because you're not going to be able to afford anything else. And no monies will be coming in for you. Please hear this out. I'm not just saying this because I'm saying it. I'm asking you as an urgency. God bless you and your family. May the Lord watch over you and keep you well. I love each and every one of y'all. I want you to get up and have more power in this world. Do not deny yourself. This is the fight that you need to fight the most for your future. Have a good night, a good day. Power for the coming people. Marcy for MLK. Good night. Goodbye.